So let's take a look at some of the tabs on the Redshift node itself. You can see here we've got our, right up here we've got a bunch of different exporting options. Usually I'm clicking render to disk when I want to do like some sort of, rendering some sort of image sequence out. It's currently set to render the current frame, but you can set that to render a frame range, and by default the frame range is set to fstart and fend, which are tokens that indicate the length of the start frame and the end frame of our scene right here. So if I were to change, you can see that those, when I click on this parameter right here, you can see what those values evaluate to, and it's 1 to 240, just like it is in our timeline down here. If I were to change the length of my scene, say I go to this end tab over here and I change it to 180 and hit enter, it changes the length of my project to 180, and you can see that this frame range dynamically changes to a different frame range. Just going to set that back to 240, and you can see that that changes back. Now, if you don't want it to be, if you don't want to use these expressions, you can just remove these channels by right-clicking and saying delete channels. If you right-click on this start end ink and say delete channels, that gets rid of them. And then here you can just type in any range you want. You can say, I want to render frame 24 to 96. So I just hit 24, and then I hit the tab key to go between the different frame ranges. And this is by increment. If you wanted to render at some other interval than every single frame, you could render every other frame by putting a 2 in there or something like that. Usually I just leave that alone. So that's how you can set your your frame range that you're rendering. I'm just going to set this frame range back to the defaults. So I'm going to right click on start end increment and say revert to defaults, and you can see it puts that f start and f end back in there.